Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of council for the Township of Malahide for April 3rd, 2025. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock. We'll begin our meeting with O Canada, so please rise if you can. Thank you for that. We'll continue with the approval of the agenda. There's one amendment it's a closed session item to discuss these Elmer Settlement Area Boundary Adjustment. Any other additions or changes? Seeing none, we'll proceed with the motion, please.
That the April 3rd, 2025 regular council meeting agenda be approved as modified with the following amendment that was added after publishing of the original agenda. Closed session item, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communication necessary for that purpose. Elmer Settlement Area Boundary Adjustment, Section 239(2)F.
Thank you. Mover and seconder. Councillor Serna moves. Councillor Leach seconds. All those in favor? Motion's carried. Next is disclosure of pecuniary interest. Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. I have one item G, the Iker drain.
Thank you. Noted. Next is announcements. None this evening. So we'll proceed with the adoption of minutes. We have the minutes from our previous meetings, which March 20th. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, the motion, please.
That the minutes of the regular council meeting held on March 20th, 2025 be adopted.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Lewis moves. Councillor Leach seconds. All in favor? That's carried. Next, we have a public meeting for a meeting to consider the Iker drain. Mr. Spreet, welcome in person.
Thank you, Your Worship. Tonight's meeting is the consideration of the Iker drain branches. This drain or this report came about as a request by the landowners on the south side of Glencoln line. They are tributary to branch A of the Iker drain, and the existing tile through their lands is not a municipal drain and is not in good shape, so they required a new drain. So there's also the road authority along Glencoln line has signed for some branches because they have water. They need drainage issues there too. So what we're proposing to do is to construct an extension to branch A of the Iker drain that runs through the Bender, Wagler, and Wagler lands across Carter Road, and then construct two branches that go from the branch A up to the intersection of Carter Road and Glencoln line, and then a further branch D, which is west of Carter Road, to catch some road water and some surface water in that area as well. It's all a closed drain, tile drain, designed for a 38 millimeter rainfall event, which is the standard for OMAFR grant. Are there any questions?
Members of council, any questions or comments? Seeing none. Oh, Councillor Leach.
Thank you, Your Worship. I noticed that in the costing, there was a steel drain. Is there instance of earlier failure than standard plastic piping? Or is that standard for the project type?
Through you, Your Worship, the steel pipe is where we cross under the roads because we don't open cut the road. We don't cut the pavement. We bore under it. And we need the steel to be able to push the pipe through. There's a lot of stresses. Plastic pipe just wouldn't be able to do the job. So when we bore under a road, we have to use steel pipe.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none. Consider the motion, please.
That the engineer's report for the Eicher Drain be accepted and that bylaw number 2521, being a bylaw to provide for the Eicher drainage works, be read a first and second time and provisionally adopted.
Mover and seconder. Councillor Glinski moves. Councillor Wilson seconds. All in favor? And the motion is carried. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's nice to see people in person. Yes.
Just second motion. That the Court of Revision for the Eicher Drain be scheduled to be held on May 1st, 2025 at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Mover and seconder. Councillor Leach moves. Councillor Lewis seconds. All those in favor? Thank you. That is carried.
That
That the tenders for the construction of the Eicher Drain be requested for April 25th, 2025 at 11 a.m.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Glinski moves. Councillor Leach seconds. All in favor? That is carried.
Jeff, can you get?
The next item on the agenda is a public hearing. So council will adjourn its regular meeting in order to sit as a committee of the adjustment under section 45 of the Planning Act. Clerk Adams, the resolution, please.
That the Committee of Adjustment for the Township of Malahide be called to order at 7:08 p.m. and that Mayor Dominique Giguère be appointed chairperson for the Committee of Adjustment.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Serna moves. Councillor Lewis seconds. All in favor? Motion is carried. So the purpose of this hearing is to consider an application for minor variance as submitted by Kevin Haynen relating to the property located at concession STR North Part Lot 90, known municipally as 5255 Talbot Line. Mr. Steele, welcome. Can you provide an overview of the application and let us know if there were any comments received, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before committee tonight is a minor variance application for 50255 Talbot Line. The property currently contains an existing dwelling, and the owners are proposing a renovation to add a secondary dwelling unit to the rear of the existing building. The zoning bylaw contains regulations regarding secondary dwelling units, one of which being that the floor area not exceed 40% of the floor area of the primary dwelling, and that's intended to ensure that it remains accessory to the primary residential use of the property. Whereas the owners are proposing a maximum floor area of 43% of the dwelling, so a small increase. It is noted the lands to the south, west, and north are vacant agricultural lands, and the proposed dwelling unit will be located 8 meters from the shared boundary with the residential property to the east, as well as will be screened from view by the existing tree line. And so in consideration of these and other factors, staff are satisfied that it meets the 4 tests of a minor variance, being that it conforms to the general intent and purpose of the official plan, is minor in nature, and it represents appropriate and desirable development for the subject lands. It is noted that no comments have been received by members of the public or agencies to date, and so staff are recommending the application be approved, subject to standard conditions. And that concludes our presentation. I'd be happy to questions from members of committee.
Thank you. Questions from members of the committee? Seeing none. The applicants? Anything to comment or add to the application? Anyone else in attendance online? Double check. No. Okay, so if there are no further comments, then I want to thank everyone for your input and for the overview, Mr. Steele. I'll now ask the committee to make the decision on the application with the resolution, please.
That report number DS 2510 entitled Minor Variance Application of Kevin Haynen relating to the property located at Concession STR North Part Lot 90 50255 Talbot Line be received, and that the Township of Malahide Committee of Adjustment approve application number D13 MV 0125, and that the approval shall be subject to the following conditions. 1, that the owner applicant obtain the necessary building permit within 2 years from the date of decision to the satisfaction of the chief building official, ensuring that the approved variance applies only to the proposed residential dwelling as illustrated within the application. And 2, that the structure be constructed as per the details shown in the drawings as provided with the application to the satisfaction of the chief building official.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, please. Councilor Wilson moves, Deputy Mayor Widner seconds. All in favor? That is carried.
That the Committee of Adjustment for the Township of Malahide be adjourned and the council meeting reconvene at 7:12 p.m.
Mover and seconder, please. Councilor Serna moves. Councilor Glinski seconds. All in favor? That is carried. Okay, and I think that was the only report for you, Mr. Steele, this evening. Thank you
you.
for being with us.
Yeah, have a
nice
good evening.
Next on the agenda, we have no delegations. We'll move to approval of business. So there are 3 items that were considered by the Committee of the Whole at our last meeting. So we'll proceed with the consent agenda.
Whereas at its March 20th, 2025 meeting, the Committee of the Whole recommended to Council items A through C, and be it resolved that Council adopts the above recommendations from the Committee of the Whole.
Mover and seconder, please. Councilor Leach moves, Councilor Wilson seconds. Any further discussions or questions on those items? Seeing none. All those in favor? That is carried. Okay, we can now move to new business. The first item for consideration is the tender results for the supply and placement of road granulars. Mr. Godby. Good evening.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to council, report PW 2513 is a tender award for the supply and placement of our road granulars. If you look on your agenda package, page 26, you can see the list of road segments that are going to be covered with our every 5-year program of putting new gravel down on our gravel roads. So the list is there as well. This contract will cover all of our granular needs for our reconstruction projects on College Line and on Pressy here in Springfield. As you may notice, when you look on page 37 of your agenda, you'll see that 2025 provided us some very favorable pricing compared, well, the lowest since 2023, which was a nice thing for us to find. So with that, we are fully expecting to have all of our work completed within budget and to be done by Mackenzie and Henderson Limited of Forest, Ontario. And with that, if there's any questions, I will gladly answer.
Thank you. Questions or comments? We'll proceed with the resolution, please.
The report number PW 2513 entitled Tender Results, Supply and Placement of Road Granulars be received, and that the tender for the supply and placement of road granulars contract be awarded to Mackenzie and Henderson Limited of Forest, Ontario in the amount of $489,994 plus HST, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to enter into an agreement with Mackenzie and Henderson Limited for the purpose of completing the supply and placement of road granulars program.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, please. Counselor Cerna moves, Counselor Leach seconds. All those in favor? Motion is carried. The next item, again, Director Godby, the tender award for the pickup truck replacements.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to council, report PW 2512 is a tender award for pickup truck replacements, where we were looking to enter into an agreement with Bayfield Ford of Barrie, Ontario for the purchase of 2 3/4 ton pickup trucks. We issued this tender back in February. We had it went to a total of 48 dealers. We received 7 bids from 7 different suppliers, and the low bid was out of Bayfield Ford. This would be for one new 2025 Ford F-250 regular cab pickup truck and one new 2025 Ford F-250 crew cab pickup truck. All the bid was fully compliant with everything in our tender specs. It is within budget, and we are satisfied to move forward with this purchase if it is councilor's desire. If there are any questions, I will gladly answer.
Thank you. Comments, questions? Counselor Leach and then Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. How, if we approve this, and the trucks are affected by tariff, how is this price set, or will the tariffs impact the price we are approving?
Which one of us?
I can go here first. Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Leach. It's a very good question. Understanding the current unknown dynamics of the world we're in right now. Our tender was drafted basically that all pricing is inclusive of any costs. The price that they bid is the price that they are to be held to. In the event that there was going to be some sort of increased tariff or anything put on these vehicles, it would be up to the supplier to either honor the price that they have bid or choose to break the contract with the municipality.
I'll do a follow-up and then Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Is there has the province or the federal government made any hint that they would be assisting municipalities with increased costs based upon this rare circumstance in our economic climate?
They haven't communicated anything as such to us, but they have asked for costing information. Like they're asking us how we think we're going to be affected, and we're supplying the province with that information. But as of right now, it's unclear to us whether municipalities would receive any financial assistance at all.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Widner?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. What's our timeline to say yes or no on this?
Through you, Madam Mayor, the irrevocable period is 90 days on the tender. So the tender closed, I'd have to look, I believe it was March the 7th. So we have 90 days from that where the dealers are required to hold their pricing. And after that, they are free to withdraw it at any time.
Okay, thank you. Just have the way the climate is right now, I'd like to see I'd like to defer this for a bit, not forever, but have the equipment committee and staff and have a second look at this, because there's a lot of money if we get hit with 25%, and it's coming. There's 2 factories announced they're closing today for a period of time in Windsor and in Mexico. It's starting this fast, so 25% charge, we can't afford that in our budget. That's half a point. I think we owe it to our ratepayers to at least try to see what we can come up with for the best deal and see what we can do if we could buy local. I would rather see us just buy. It's probably hard to do, but there are trucks built in Ontario, and it may be a lot less hassle and it'd be a lot more favorable for our community to support local. Thank you.
Any comments from staff on the suggestion to defer? Any risks, any advantages?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to the Deputy Mayor, I don't disagree with the mindset. We definitely, we have some time. We can defer this for a short period and maybe have some conversation with Bayfield Ford just to confirm their willingness to stand firm on this price. At the end of the day, if there were tariffs, they could choose to walk away from the agreement with us. That would just leave us with either the choice to go to the next lowest bid, or if we're within the 90-day period, or we would be put in a position to just retender or go through one of our new purchasing mechanisms of our procurement bylaw. Just anecdotally, I can say that the information was passed on to us that Ford generally intended to hold their pricing, knowing that there was this bit of uncertainty, but we don't have that as a firm commitment or anything in writing at this time. So, I mean, deferral would give us some time to go back and we could try and tie up some of those loose ends to make sure that we're not going to put ourselves into a sticky situation.
Just to follow up on that, okay, the tariff, is it collected by the government or is it collected from the company, or how does that work? Like when you go across the border, they scoop your money right there. So I don't know who's gonna want the 25% and keep it. Can you clarify that maybe, Adam, or?
Well, it's collected by the importing country, right? So Canada would have to be applying a tariff for goods coming over from the border. But the auto sector, it's not clear cut. I mean, there's a lot of back and forth across the border, so it's not clear to us how the tariffs would impact fleet in particular for the municipality.
Councillor Cerna.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. My question is, are these trucks in stock or do we have to wait for them, like the fire trucks? If they're in stock, there should be no tariff if they're sitting on the lot. And that makes a big difference as well.
Through you, Madam Mayor, these trucks were originally bid back at the time when this tender was issued as new builds. So they're not on the lot. They are still going to be required to be constructed by Ford.
So then they would be built in the States because Ford doesn't build trucks in Canada, I don't think. So then we get hit with that 25% tariff.
Right, and that's the part where we don't know, because the onus would be on the seller to tell us if they're going to honor this or how they are going to deal with the tariffs. So it sounds like the first discussion would be to go back to Bayfield to ask what their intent is. Okay. Councillor Lewis?
I hear you, Your Worship. So I want to make sure that my conversation with Adam gets reiterated. And he said it earlier tonight. In the contract they have right now for that truck, if they were to change their price, they have to eat it. It doesn't matter if it's a tariff. It doesn't matter if it's a PDI fee for getting it ready. In that contract, I was told that they have to eat it. So right now, if we take it, that's the price. So we can wait a little while and confirm it, but we wait any longer than that 90 days and expires, I guarantee you we're paying more. We're not going to save a nickel. We're going to get it hard. Right now, we can't get it hard unless they renege the contract. If they renege the contract, we would have an option to legally hold them to it. Whether we would want to go to court and stuff over a truck, no, I doubt very highly one would want to entertain that. But as it stands right now, they can't change the price. I want to make am I correct with that, Adam?
I suppose under ordinary circumstances, and now it's, even procurement rules are being bent a little bit. So, Mr. Boylan.
We did build in those price protections into the contract document that the supplier signed. That is true. Crazier things have happened. If it's not financially worthwhile for them to honor the contract, they could just back out and call our bluff, and we'd have to take them to court. And is it really in the best interest of the property taxpayers to, rack up legal fees when we could just go to the next supplier and see if they'll honor the contract and kind of move down the line that way? Or maybe we'll cancel the tender altogether and look at something that's sitting on a lot somewhere. I don't know. There's options. Like if we feel that these tender results are not going to be in the best interest of the taxpayer, we'll just walk away from the thing, I think would be the recommendation.
Counselor Glinski.
Madam Mayor, hearing what I've heard, why would we want to defer and wait to see if someone's going to throw a tariff on us? Why don't we accept the bid as is? And if, as Adam has indicated, they're supposed to be good for whatever it says on a piece of paper. So I wouldn't wait. I wouldn't wait. I would go along with getting the vehicle at this price before somebody decides to change it. Thank you.
Director Boylan, did you want to comment?
I would agree where it's like a straight purchase and sale and there's an existing truck and we're just going to grab it before any more tariffs are implemented. But the fact that they have to build it, like the delivery time on this is going to be, I don't know, late 2025. So, I mean, we're not going to avoid any tariffs by making the decision tonight, right? Like they're contractually bound to the price that they bid for the truck until June 7th. So nothing's going to really change if we do defer tonight, other than it's going to give staff the opportunity to reach out to the supplier and see if their intent is to honor the contract despite the tariffs.
Okay, so there's no risk in deferring. I'm hearing there's only advantages to maybe propose and explore all the options. Okay. Deputy Mayor, did you want to add?
No, just to repeat, I think we got a little bit of time. I think we really need to have a good hard look at this because I understand today there was even trucks backed up at the border. They weren't bringing them across because the tariffs already started as of last night. So I doubt very much they would honor the price, because why would they? They don't have to. They can walk away from the contract. And if we think we're going to sue Ford and win, good luck with that. But I just think we should take some time, have staff and the equipment committee look at it. And if we're there before the end of the 90 days, well, we'll just have to go and eat it. But I just like to save us 60 or 70,000, or, you know, it's some money, not more. That's wrong. $30,000-$40,000. If we can, we owe it to our ratepayers, I think. And it's just throwing money away as far as I'm concerned. And if the government says, well, they're going to make it up for us, it's still our money. So it's still a waste. So anyway, that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. It sounds like there's good consensus around a deferral. So the next question to clarify is whether staff would prefer then to go back to the committee. Is there discussion enough to warrant a committee meeting, or do you prefer to just come back to council? Do you have a preference? There's also the timing. Any preferences from council or from staff?
Through you, Madam Mayor. I won't speak for Councillor Lewis or the Deputy Mayor. However, from a staff perspective, we could easily just reach out to Bayfield Ford, and if they come back with, yeah, we're going to honor the pricing and everything's good, they might be able to just shoot a couple emails back and forth between the committee members, have a brief discussion. If that doesn't go that way, then perhaps we can convene the committee together to have a little more of a detailed chat about what we want to do, strategizing going forward. So, I mean, if you want to leave it at that, that's kind of the approach that I would suggest at this point, and I'll just await your direction.
Okay, so the agreement is, or it sounds like, yeah, well, so we'll keep the equipment committee members informed, and then together the committee can, and the chair of the committee could call the meeting if there's more to discuss and explore. Okay, so perhaps we'll keep it simple for the resolution for this evening and consider a deferral.
The report number PW 2512 entitled Tender Award Pickup Truck Replacements be received, and that the decision to proceed with the agreement be deferred.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, Deputy Mayor Widner moves. Councilor Lewis seconds. All in favor? Motion is carried. The next item under new business is the alternate Elgin County Fire Coordinator appointment. Director Spoor.
To your mayor, this is just a quick report that the outgoing fire chief in Central Elgin has been our mutual aid coordinator for the last several years. When he was the chief in St. Thomas, he had that position and carried it back with him to Central Elgin when he left. Over the years previous to this, it was held in by it was typically just the fire chief in St. Thomas that held the position. Unfortunately, the representation for the county wasn't properly done to our thoughts that because they were unaware of the commitments for trucks and stuff in the mutual aid. As we're having large events, we wouldn't have them out to it. They wouldn't be able to provide good information. So we switched to the county chiefs several years ago and want to keep going that way. Jeff MacArthur, who's the fire chief in Southold, it was the alternate before. We're going to move him to the up position where Ray was before, and then ask for me to join as the alternate. So really all it is I need a council endorsement to apply to the OFM for that position. So if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Nice recognition of your expertise. Comments or questions? Seeing none, resolution?
The report number F 2506 entitled Alternate Elgin County Fire Coordinator Appointment be received, and that council endorse the request for the Malahide Fire Chief to be appointed as the alternate Elgin County Fire Coordinator.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Leach moves, Councillor Glinsky seconds. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Next is a report on the provincial financial indicators. So back to you, Director Boylan.
Yeah, so this is just a informational report for council. It's from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing. It provides a financial overview of the township's financial position. This report being for the 2023 year end. So it's just a snapshot at the end of 2023. The report goes over how we compare to other municipalities similar to ours, as well as kind of the history of the townships, some of our financial indicators over time. And I've also provided some context as to why I think the financial indicators are what they are, and provided a risk trend level as well for council's review. Happy to answer any questions council may have.
Thank you for that. And those notes, again, very clear, and because context is everything. So thank you for those questions or comments. We're looking good. Resolution, please.
The report number FIN 2506 entitled Provincial Financial Indicators be received for information.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Widner moves, Councillor Wilson seconds. All in favor? That is carried. Which brings us to next item for consideration is the U.S. trade war policy provisions. Director Boylan.
Yes, this report is a follow-up to our procurement bylaw update that was considered at the last committee of the whole meeting. At that time, council had directed staff to explore options for how the township might restrict American companies from securing contracts with the township. So in response, staff did examine two approaches: a full outright ban on American vendors and a price preference model that would provide a competitive advantage to Canadian or other non-American suppliers. So the report outlines our analysis and explains why staff are ultimately recommending against a full ban. Our chief concern lies with the availability of alternative markets for the types of goods that we do regularly purchase from the United States, such as fleet, as we talked about tonight, heavy machinery and bunker gear in particular. A complete ban would risk leaving the township with limited or unsuitable options in these areas, is the opinion of staff. So instead, we are recommending a price preference model. Under this approach, if a Canadian bidder is within 25% of the lowest compliant bid received through a competitive process, the contract would be awarded to that Canadian bidder. This model offers the township greater flexibility. It allows us to continue purchasing American products when no viable alternatives are available, and it still supports Canadian businesses and manages potential cost impacts on our taxpayers. So it also gives council transparency. You'll still be seeing what the American suppliers would have offered, which I think is a valuable piece of information for council to consider. Under a full ban, you wouldn't see these bids at all from American companies. So given the current trade environment and the uncertainty that it presents, we do believe that a flexible rather than a rigid approach is the more prudent path forward. If council is supportive of this price preference model direction, we're requesting that council approve a resolution authorizing engagement of the township solicitor to conduct a legal review. This will help ensure that any potential legal concerns that are not yet identified by staff will be appropriately addressed. Thank you.
Thank you. Comments, questions? Councillor Leach.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to thank staff for coming up with these suggestions so timely. And the fact that they're flexible is better for everybody involved, I would think.
Any further questions or comments? Yeah, it does sound like a really good option, but probably wise to get a legal opinion before implementing. So let's consider the resolution then.
The report FIN 2505 entitled U.S. Trade War Policy Provisions be received for information, and that staff be directed to undertake a legal review of the proposed trade war response provisions and report back to council with findings and recommended next steps, including any proposed amendments to the procurement bylaw.
Thank you. Mover and seconder. Deputy Mayor Widner moves. Councillor Cerna second. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Director Boylan. We'll go now to the CAO's report on the water wastewater master servicing plan. Mr. Diaz.
Through you, Mayor Giguere, the report outlines the need for the township to develop a comprehensive water and wastewater master servicing plan. The township's ability to accommodate potential growth and development has been significantly constrained by the reach and capacity of its existing water and wastewater infrastructure. This has hindered opportunity, curtailed development potential, impeded the township's ability to expand its tax base, and restricted efforts to address local housing and economic development needs. We understand that council has a strategic priority to unlock responsible growth with an objective of accomplishing a long-term affordable solution to water and wastewater infrastructure needs that will unlock some growth of her tax base, contribute to housing needs, and attract people and businesses. This master water and wastewater servicing plan is necessary to advance work on prior infrastructure studies which outlined existing limitations and challenges. This plan will integrate prior findings into a coordinated infrastructure strategy and move us closer to our strategic objectives by identifying cost-effective, technically feasible solutions with a phased and digestible roadmap to guide future infrastructure investments which may seem cost-prohibitive today. The timing is also important. The outcomes of this plan will also inform several critical related initiatives, including the township's upcoming official plan update, the next development charges background study, and the County of Elgin's broader initiative to evaluate regional water and wastewater servicing opportunities. The scope of the project refers to retaining an engineering consultant to evaluate current systems, forecast needs, identify technical and financial solutions, and also conduct some stakeholder engagement. Deliverables include a detailed technical analysis, engagement summaries, a final master plan document, and an implementation roadmap. The estimated project cost is $50,000, requiring a draw from the capital reserve, which sufficient reserve funds exist to cover this expenditure.
Thank you for that. I'll open it up for questions or comments. Seeing none, they're quite very supportive. Yes, and thank you for just reassuring everyone that this is building on all previous studies, and now it's just taking to the next steps. And we've looked at these topics before, but not with a roadmap, because we know we have to get moving in some way. Status quo won't work. So thank you for proposing this. We'll proceed with the resolution.
The report CAO 2501 entitled Water and Wastewater Master Servicing Plan be received for information, and that council authorize staff to initiate the procurement of a qualified engineering consultant to undertake a comprehensive water and wastewater master servicing plan to assess the township's long-term servicing needs and identify solutions that support strategic fiscally responsible growth, and that council authorize a transfer of up to $50,000 from the capital reserve to fund the completion of the water and wastewater master servicing plan.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, please. Counselor Cerna moves, Counselor Lewis second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Good. That is carried. Okay, this brings us to bylaws. 4 bylaws for consideration. We'll proceed with one resolution.
That the following bylaws be now read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. 2516, council remuneration, 2515, procurement, 2522, appointment, CBO, and inspectors, and that the following bylaws be now read a first and second time. 2521, Iker Drain.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, please. Counselor Leach moves, Counselor Wilson seconds. All in favor? That is carried. There are no items for committee of the whole this evening, so we can go straight to correspondence. There are 7 items. Any questions, comments, endorsements? Being none, we'll proceed with receiving the correspondence, please.
Be it resolved that all correspondence items be received and filed.
Mover and seconder, please. Counselor Cerna moves, Counselor Leach seconds. All in favor? That is carried. And this brings us to a closed session. Resolution to move into closed.
The council move into closed session at 7:42 PM pursuant to section 239(2) of the Municipal Act as amended to discuss the following: advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, Elmer Settlement Area Boundary Adjustment, section 239(2)F.
Thank you. Mover and seconder. Counselor Lewis moves. Deputy Mayor Widner seconds. All in favor? That is carried. So resolution. Okay, welcome back. And let's have a resolution to come out of closed session, please.
The council move out of closed session and reconvene at 8:43 PM in order to continue with its deliberations, and there is nothing further to report.
Thank you. Mover and seconder. Counselor Cerna moves, Counselor Glinsky seconds. All in favor? That's carried. Brings us to confirmatory bylaw.
That bylaw number 2523 being confirmatory bylaw be given first, second, and third reading and properly signed and sealed.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, please. Counselor Cerna moves, Counselor Lewis seconds. All in favor? Carried. And adjournment.
The council adjourned its meeting at 8:44 PM to meet again on April 17th, 2025 at 7 PM.
Mover and seconder. Deputy Mayor Widner moves, Counselor Cerna seconds. All in favor? Motion carried. Have a nice evening. Thank you, everyone.